Cincinnati, Mitch Hildebrand, the hero, and the underdogs have prevailed once again.
I would like to present the USL Regular Season Championship to FC Cincinnati. Congratulations to the players, the staff, and most importantly, the fans on a record-breaking season. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your regular season champions, FC Cincinnati.
In a foot race, Cincinnati plays this across. Vasquez with the finish. Brandon Vasquez gives Cincinnati the 2-1 lead. A late breakdown by Red Bull.
Well, Dylan Nealis gets beaten, and nobody covers the streaking run. Unbelievable.
L'Oreal got under that. Oh! What a goal for FC Cincinnati! You couldn't dream that any better. Goal of the tournament. Maybe the history of the tournament. Alvaro Powell makes it 2-0.
Acosta beats one man one-on-one and another. This is still Lucho Acosta continuing on. Acosta! Oh my goodness! A play worthy of a perfect 10 by Cincinnati's number 10.
Unbelievable. He's like a kid in a playground. He just picked the ball up and said, okay, you know what? I'm going to pick it up at the halfway line and I'm going to go all the way on my own. And you're thinking to yourself, release the ball now, release the ball now. He decides, no, I'm not having that. I'm going to have the goal instead. And I'm probably going to get the goal of the season as well.
Valerian looks to deliver, flick towards the far post, and it's off the line! What a save! That's a match-winning save.
He thinks that he's found the equalizer yet again, but Celentano just stays big and makes a massive save.
They have done it. Cincinnati, your 2023 Supporters Shield winners. A first trophy in their MLS.
The Flying Lion says,
boys, hell is real.
2023 Supporter Shield champs.
So glad that I can be back with people who know that it's a Flying Lion.
It shows how much we all love this club.
Yeah, just a fan of the sport, you know.
It's definitely tougher to be in a catch player than it is a pro.
In this club, you don't play just for the club, you play for the ball.
Swap, car of the week, trivia question of the week.
Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of the Flying Lion podcast. We are here on a winning recap for our first game in the MLS playoffs for 2025. Sam, I'm feeling pretty pumped about this one. What a win, and hell is real.
Yeah, the energy was good all night. I know we'll touch on the game. We'll touch on, a whole bunch of stuff going on, during this podcast, Ryan. We're in the playoffs, right? And energy's high throughout the entire MLS. Luckily it was, in our favor. I can't imagine, if it would have gone to PKs, it was kind of leaning that way. I know somebody behind us, right? While we were sitting there, was kind of saying something about it, but it came out good, and can't wait to talk about that and everything else around FC Cincinnati today.
Yeah, it's exciting, man. Game one, win one. The playoffs are here. This is it. This is our chance to go get a trophy. We've been looking for, this MLS Cup. We won the Shield already, so, it's a good start. So we're going to recap this match, everything about it, the beginning, the TIFO, all of it. So we'll tell you all that in the first half of the episode, some storylines that came out of that. Second part of the episode, we did have a lot of cool news going on around the club, including guys that were up for awards throughout the MLS, which has been pretty cool. Some new kicks that dropped as well. So we'll chat about that and our opinions on what we saw with those. And then we'll do a preview for game number 2 in this Hell is Real series. I still can't believe we could potentially have 3 matches against them. So, let's kick it off here, Sam. Round 1, game 1, Crew 1-0 victory at home. Second year in a row, Monday night game, 6:45. Wasn't feeling great about the time slot, but hey, the fans showed up. It was a rowdy bunch that was in the stadium, and I love the atmosphere. I love the towels. The orange out was nice.
Yeah, not
Overall,
quite. Yeah, not quite sold out, but I think it was like 23.5 maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was a solid number, again, just for the timing of things. It felt bigger, than what it was too. Fourth straight MLS playoffs for FC Cincinnati, for those who, weren't familiar with that. One of two clubs in the MLS, so since 2022, LAFC was the other one to do that, to have 4 straight MLS playoff appearances. Roman Celentano, Sam, the only player now in FC Cincinnati history to appear in every postseason match for the club. So props to Roman. It's pretty cool to see. But now Sam, with this win, 2-0-0 all-time in Monday MLS competitions, the last one again being last year for that first round one. But let's talk about this tifo, Sam. Let's hear what your opinion is on what we saw.
That was really cool. That was really cool tifo. I know when they obviously, just dropped the background down, we were like, oh, like that by itself would have been cool, right? And then you see them start to bring up the night, right? Just out of almost like out of the smoke, and I thought it was really cool, and definitely a nice like homage to what we're trying to do, going into battle and marching together, right? I thought that was really cool. I think as the years have gone along, it's been nice to see that we're better at the rigging system, right?
Sure.
Every single time we keep getting better and better. But yeah, what were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, first off, huge shout out to the Forge Cincy. Killed it again. Their tifos have just been one-upping the next one. This one with the bottom part saying shoulder to shoulder, we march as one, with that knight popping up in front of the cavalry and the army there. Yeah, it was elite. I mean, what would you expect different, from the Forge and from the Bailey? It was awesome. I think the comments we saw about it being AI driven and like auto generated and stuff is absolutely ridiculous. I know a lot of people put in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Maybe not, sweat and tears to it. But yeah, no, it was awesome. I loved it. It kind of built the atmosphere. And another thing that built that as well, Sam, was seeing Alec Khan. He had his retirement ceremony pre-match. We found out this past week. Everyone had been kind of wondering what's going on with Alec. Would he kind of move on to, a different role with the club? Sammy's going to be retiring at the end of this season. Walk us through what a career that, Khan's had for us and for other teams as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So Alec Khan, he joined the Origin Blue ahead of the 2022 season, kind of in that mix with, the rest of our goalkeeper. We weren't really sure, what the goalkeeping situation was going to look like. Brand new. I believe this was Pat's first year as well, right? So just very brand new to it all. And so I believe same year we drafted Celentano. And so it was all up in the air. But he's made 20 appearances for FC Cincinnati in all competitions. And then over his whole career, he's actually made 126 appearances across his 13-year professional career. So not bad. But we were, as we got closer to game day, we saw Carter kind of talk to Alec Khan, before the match, and was, just asking him about retirement. What does afterwards look like? And I know when it was first announced, you and I both were like, oh, like he's probably going to go into the academy, like get his coaching. Like we probably instantly thought that, because he has vocally just talked about, him being such a coach, right? Like if you've been with us for a while, we talked with Bobby Edwards, who's the former academy goalkeeper coach, and Bobby was like, every single goalkeeper is coming over, they're helping out, especially Alec, like he's coming and helping the young guys. So yeah, it looks like that's exactly what's going to happen, is he's going to kind of go into, an academy role and kind of work on getting those coaching licenses.
Yeah, we wish Alec the best. Again, a true professional. Maybe didn't get the experience he wanted in Cincinnati with, Roman beating him out.
Injuries too. Yeah.
Injuries, yeah, unfortunate. But again, a true professional, and just, carrying it with class, having his jersey kind of honored on the field pre-match. And then he pulls the sword. So kind of kicked us off with a current kind of former player, whatever way you want to look at it. Doing that had to pump up, us obviously, but with the players too, and seeing that as well.
Would he be the second current player to pull the sword, right? Because Hagelin pulled the sword.
Hags last year. Yeah, no, that's a good shout. I think you might be right about that. So
that could have been a good trivia. Could have been
yeah,
a good
there
trivia.
you go. Missed opportunity already. That was the question. You guys answered it right if you had it. But yeah, no, cool to see that for him and to honor him. I think it was the perfect person to do that for the playoff match. But if we look at lineup wise, Sam, a little bit different than what we were predicting. Obviously, a lot of things go into this, injuries and whatnot in predicting. But Roman Celentano ends up winning that main spot. You know, Leroux maybe had a little bit of a shout there for a minute, but Pat confirmed for sure Roman. Yuya Kubo, Sam, left wing back for him. Teenage Hidebe, Miles Robinson, Nick Hagelin. We had Ender Echenike, who was back in this one. Giddy actually gets to start in the middle next to Buka, Evander, Brenner, and Denkey as our front three, our typical guys up there. What were your thoughts on Giddy starting over Obi? I know coming off an injury, maybe that is a no-brainer there. Maybe it was a surprise it wasn't a Nunga, but what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I know Obi last game came in as a sub, so they weren't sure if he'd go, full 90 or not. If I'm not mistaken, or did he play full 90 against Montreal?
Obi?
Yeah,
45.
45. That's what I thought. Okay, so I mean, Giddy starting maybe makes sense for longevity wise. Obviously, you want Obi to be as healthy as possible going into the playoffs, and like we had talked about, Giddy's a little bit more athletic than Obi and is able to kind of help with the attacking side of things, which we saw. He was pinpointing a lot of passes, which was really cool. But Ryan, I mean, touch on Kubo playing left wing back, because we saw this at the end of the Montreal game and we've seen it before. I think a lot of people were like, oh, this is a very attacking forward lineup.
Yeah, well, first off, I just wanted to real quickly say with Giddy, to have a young player come in and play in this moment, hell is real, rivalry, first game of the playoffs. And
21.
The coach to have the confidence in that player, to play next to Buka there, what an honor for him, and he delivered in a lot of ways. He had obviously some mistakes, and we'll kind of touch on that. But I think overall he was solid there. So it was nice to see. But when you talk about Kubo, it's experience, Sam. We hadn't seen a ton of him playing in the wingback spot, but who else do you have? I mean, maybe Marzouk there, but he doesn't really have as much of the experience maybe in the hard moments. And you can rely upon Kubo in a lot of ways, a lot of different positions. He was serviceable. He wasn't the best, but he did the job, and he didn't let the other guys, do something crazy on him. So definitely happy to see him there. They had tested the waters with him in the Montreal match. The second half of that one, he came in as a sub, like you had mentioned, I think. So he was starting to kind of build into that in case they needed him if Luca Orishano wasn't able to start, and that was the case. So like we had said, he was questionable. Luca doesn't end up playing at all. Lucas Engel, he's not even on the team sheet. So another player where, you're looking at the bench and saying, all right, well, who do we have, towards the end of the game? Luckily, we had some decent depth that we could rely upon. So as we kick into this match, Sam, the first, 15 minutes in a lot of ways was kind of testing things out. I think for FC Cincinnati fans, you see the moment where Roman Celentano is just chilling with the ball. And you're like, all right, what are we doing here? Building out of the back. But I really think it was a punch, counter punch kind of half in some ways. Like, all right, well, this is what I'm going to do. Let's see what you're going to do. And it was kind of feeling out. I don't think a lot of teams, want to make that mistake early on, obviously in the playoffs. They're going to be a little bit more conservative. But starting the 14th minute, Sam, we had a decent chance.
Yeah, we had a decent chance. You get Evander with a shot from, I think outside the 18, or if not, like right by the 18. And he puts a good shot on goal just right at the keeper. So he's got pace on it, and keeper goes to punch it, and Giddy's right there. He's waiting for it. And unfortunately, his shot also goes at the keeper. Just an unfortunate, just like I said, chance. Like you want that to go in. You would hope that he puts it in one of the corners, right? Exactly. But all in all, like that was a good spark, okay, like we got that chance out of the way. Let's go get another one, and they kind of seem to be hungry for another one.
Yeah, no, I think that was a nice moment for us, though. Kind of showed us that, hey, we can go and get this. 10 minutes later, though, I think Columbus has a chance where Arfston has a shot and Roman makes a save with his chest. I think he might have been offside on that, even if it were to have unfortunately, if it did go past him, but I'm pretty sure it would have been called back for offside. Past that, I think Ender had a decent chance. There was another moment where Kubo played a nice ball across the box. It felt like really in the first half, Sam, there was a lot of good moments. We just couldn't quite connect things, if that was the theme of the half. Like good opportunities, good breaks, good build up. The final product was just lacking. And we kind of see that towards the end of the half as well. Denkey, I think, has a header over. And then 45th minute, probably the best chance of the half. A great hold-up play for Denkey on a Hagelin throw-in. Buka kind of takes it off of him, leaves a pass for Brenner, which was nice, and he just drills one where I think Schulte just honestly is just trying to get anything on it and somehow puts it over the net. So nice save by him, but it easily could have been, probably 1 or 2-0 by the end of the half. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, they also had maybe one or two chances. I know Arfston had a decent shot that hit Roman in the chest, but as far as for us, Echenike was going up the side and creating chances, which was really nice. But yeah, specifically on this one, Brenner wants this one back, right? He's like, I don't know, like I'm sure in the back of his head he's like, oh man, like I should have, hit it lower. I should have, picked the right corner.
Good strike by him.
It is. It's a phenomenal save.
I think if there's one moment where the guy says, I wish I would have done different, it was Giddy. Giddy's got to pick the corner. Brenner's shot is just drill it as hard as you can. And
it was good hold up play by Denkey to start off from the throw in from Hagelin, and we saw that all game. So obviously before half two, they didn't give us the corner, which they whistled it early.
Seems to be the theme by then.
Yeah, exactly. A trend for the whole game. But coming out of half, Ryan, I know you looked at me and went, hey, I think we're going to get a goal like right out of half. Is actually the other way around. Columbus actually got real close to getting a goal.
Yeah, so if you guys look at the breakdown of minutes when we've given up goals this season, from I think 45 to 60th minute, we've given up the most amount of goals of any stretch, throughout the game. So I don't know if it's a lack of coaching thing from Pat or if it's just we're just kind of flat out of it. But it was kind of a fluke play. The ball gets kind of through our defenders on a little break. They have a couple quick passes. It leads to a nice ball out to the width. And Roman makes a great save, on the chance. I think he's using his feet. I'm pretty sure, like a kick save, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, but it kept even, and that's what we needed in that moment. Just past that, we get a pretty solid opportunity, and I think we'll touch on it here in a bit. But it just seemed like the front three was just a little bit off in their chemistry, and the ball that is played across by Brenner is beautiful. In the moment we're talking about, Denkey's got to get something on it, man. It almost felt like how are we being so unlucky?
And in this one, right, you could see he stutters, which I don't know if it's him trying to keep himself on side or what it is, but you see at the kind of the top of his run, he stutters, and Brenner's already playing the ball in by the time he can get there. So yeah, obviously that's something that you need to have if you're going to be a clinical number 9. And unfortunately, it just doesn't go our way. And we don't really see a chance for much longer after that.
Well, it was just a weird phase of the game. I felt like in moments in the second half, for how well we did in the first, the second half was a little bit different. We lacked creativity, and we lacked a lot of possession in some moments too, where it just wasn't useful possession. It was kick it back to the keeper, try to build out of the back, and it wasn't super productive. I felt like in that stretch, like you're kind of describing here, up until around the 70th minute, we needed a little bit of a jump, or Pat to say, let's attack this way, or let's do something different to kind of spark the team. And luckily, we didn't concede, but we also didn't really do anything super positive. I think Buka has a decent chance in the 67th minute. And then I think Herrera has a shot on a breakaway that barely misses, so we were lucky there. And a minute later, Sam, we capitalize and we get the game-winning goal. Walk me through what you saw in this moment.
Yeah, Evander finally kind of woke up in this moment. Throughout the whole match, you and I were talking, he wasn't there in the second half at all. And luckily on this play, he's able to at least find Ender and Ender, once again, just a phenomenal game by him. Just sprinting all down the right side throughout the whole match. And
it's a great ball by Evander, Sam.
Yeah,
through to Ender.
I know. Yeah, good ball. But I mean, Ender runs on it and crosses it low, and Alvas Powell, streaking Alvas Powell, is on the back stick there. And I believe in his post-game press conference, right, he said he was trying to shoot, or trying to put that one on goal. And fortunately for us, it just drops to Denkey, and Denkey puts it away. So got lucky, but we'll take it. We'll take it in the game one of the playoffs.
Yeah, well, I mean, goals don't have to be pretty, Sam.
No,
and for strikers, he missed his moment early on in the half. He sees kind of a sitter, like where he has a minute to kind of collect himself and just fires it in. So he made up for it, honestly, and that's all you want. You want your striker just to be able to find the net. And again, it wasn't the prettiest, but is exactly what we needed. It's a gritty match. I'd tell people, like, obviously we dominated this game, but it could have been way better for us in terms of scoreline. It's a playoff game. No matter what way you draw it up, the goal differential doesn't matter. No. You win the game in this fashion. And obviously for everyone watching it, it was very nervy by the end. So if we talk about some late subs that we had, Sam, like you had mentioned with Alvas, a huge key piece, in seeing the last, 20 minutes out. Obi as well, once you score, you bring him in, you bring Anunga in. Kamara, I think, did a decent job at the end with holding up the ball for us to kind of kill off the game. And then, you see Flores come in for Hagelin. Hopefully there's nothing there with Nick. I think probably just had a knock and wanted to be safe. But man, we were tested though in terms of bringing some guys off the bench that we haven't seen in a while.
Well, so one guy that probably should have came off a lot earlier was Giddy, right? You and I were watching him like for the last 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and this guy was gassed. He was high-fiving people that weren't going out of the game.
You're right about that. And honestly, he had a phenomenal game. He played his heart out. It's just at some point you got to see, like, all right, make a sub for this guy. He needs a break. And luckily it didn't cost us. But Sam, let's talk about the end of the match. You talked about the end of the first half. The game was going 95 plus. We had 5 minutes of extra time. We're a minute and a half past, and this guy hasn't blown the whistle. We've had the ball. There's opportunities for him to blow. I don't know what was going on. Was it the fact that Roman delayed game like a little bit or something? Who knows? It was super bizarre. I think we were all yelling, just end this game, please. Like, don't give them another chance.
You could hear the boos rain down, right? Like as he's blowing the full-time whistle. Yeah, it was just, it felt like a lifetime because the crew, he was still giving him an opportunity, right?
Yeah.
And you and I were kind of like maybe we need to look into this. So somebody's paying this guy to go a little longer. But sure. Yeah, like you said, we get out of this one 1-0. Ryan, walk me through some of the key stats here, because we dominated in key pieces of the game.
Yeah, possession for moments where it felt like we were not as equal. It actually was pretty close. 48 for us to 52 for them. 12 shots for FC Cincinnati to 6 for them. 1.26 expected goals compared to their 0.63. And I felt like we had a decent amount of corners. In all the statistical aspects, like we honestly played better. And, it is only a 1-0 victory, but that's all you need. Again, it's the playoffs. You just have to win. Find any way to do so. Another cool stat, Sam. I think shout out to Patrick O'Leary on this one. Denkey's dominant in his first matches for different competitions. Champions Cup, scores in his first match. Regular season MLS for his first one, scores in that one. First MLS playoff match, scores in that one as well. Hopefully, we get to the MLS Cup, his first one. He scores in that as well. So, but he's been dominant in moments where we've needed him. I think I was looking at like the other competitions. Leagues Cup, he didn't play. He was injured. So he didn't even have a chance, but he would have scored if he did. And shout out to Alvas Powell, Sam, his 22nd playoff appearance, which leads all FC Cincinnati players. And that's spread out between, I think, Portland, Miami, FC Cincinnati, and Philly. So shout out to Alvas for that. We'll probably touch on it here in a little bit, but we pray for his family and friends, those down in Jamaica that just got hit by the hurricane. Hopefully everyone's okay down there. But yeah, another 1-0 victory, Sam. I think, did I predict this from the last episode? I think I might have. I said a 1-0 victory, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think I said 2-1 or something like that. Yeah.
It's the first 1-0 scoreline in Hell is Real since 2017 in the Open Cup when GB had that winner. It was the first matchup in Hell is Real ever. So it is kind of crazy. There's a lot of goals usually in Hell is Real. Only got one in this one.
Nice little throwback for the 10-year anniversary there. That's exactly why they won 1-0, right? Just because they were like, hey, remember the first time? But Ryan, as we conclude on the recap of the match here, we've got some storylines heading into the next match day. Specifically, I mean, does this performance signal a pretty decent title run, right? We put it out. Some people were saying it's a good way to start, but we'll kind of see. What are your thoughts on how this made us look going forward for like a longer run?
The way I interpret it, like it's one match, but yeah, I mean, if you come out and you play in a way where you could have had even more goals, absolutely, I feel good about this moving forward. And the intent for the team, the hunger, the fight, like we saw Ender playing his heart out. I mean, that's what you want in the playoffs, man. Like you got nothing to lose at this point. Like you're going to have a break after this and you can go wherever you want to go, on vacation. But now's the moment to do it. And I really felt like a lot of the guys did that. We could shout out maybe a few players that were a little bit absent. I'm not going to say names, but I know those guys have it in them. And I know I'll see it in game 2. And we're lucky that we have so many guys that can lead and say, hey, let's look at how important this moment is for us. Because as we go forward here, Sam, our second storyline, round 1, game 1 dominance in the playoffs for FC Cincinnati. We've won every single round 1 game 1 that we've had. So 2022 was only the single match. We won that one against Red Bulls. 23, we ended up winning the series in the first 2, so won that. And last year, beat NYCFC. So, Sam, how vital is it to get that first win in this best of 3?
Oh, yeah. I mean, extremely vital, especially since, at least the last 2 seasons, right? Well, I guess 3 in a row now, but we've had home field advantage for the past 3, right? And then that first one against Red Bulls, obviously we were pretty good, right? We were ready to go. But yeah, it just goes to show that if you get off to a good start, things can snowball. Obviously last year it wasn't really for us. Like you said, lost the next 2, but it does show, right, that we can kind of make those strides and possibly go for a deeper run. But that's crazy that we've won every single game 1. I mean, if you're a betting man, that's an easy bet right there for the next couple of years.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a cool trend. Now, Pat Noonan gets interviewed after the match and he's like, what did you learn from last year? And he goes, win game 2. Just take care of business. Don't let it even get to chance. So you'll see a hungry team, I'm sure, up in Columbus and playing hopefully with a little bit of a chip on our shoulder. But Sam, I'll kind of cap out our storylines from this one. So let's talk about a little bit on the finishing, the chances that we had. Obviously, we outshoot them. We had more shots on goal. We had more corners. The front line was a little bit off in this one. Obviously, in the first half, you see Denkey, Brenner kind of yelling at each other. There's moments where I think Denkey's got to pick his head up and look and see, like, Brenner's wide open, So moving forward, I think they're going to show him some clips and be like, there's moments where, like, they're going to leave him wide open. I think Brenner's finding really nice pockets that hopefully next match we can, exploit. Touch a little bit, Sam, on what you think about that moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, you saw Brenner going all the way back to the back line to get the ball sometimes. So the man's all over the field and he wants the ball, right? I think, what was it, Dax McCarty, I think at like half, I saw a clip that he was just like, hey, it's okay to pass to each other. Like Denkey and Brenner, it's okay. Like you can, you don't have to be selfish, right? Which then you see at times in the second half where Denkey is passing it to Brenner, but it's behind him, right? And they're when they are passing to each other, it's just out of sync and it's a little too late. So yeah, obviously that needs to be worked on in training. But hopefully as they just continue to play with each other, it gets a little bit better.
Yeah, I think if you can unlock the 3-headed monster that is the front line.
Yeah, watch out.
watch out, man. Like on paper, that front three is deadly. And I think shout out to Sasha Question. I think they did the MLS on air that you're referring to with Dax after the match. And I think they were like, look, like if you can get a Vander to gel with Brenner, to gel with Denkey, and to connect in the moment like they almost did, in the second half, you do that a couple times a game, like you're going to be set. And there was moments where I feel like in some games, Sam, our forwards are a little bit lazy and they aren't tracking together. If you're going to play with two strikers, I've touched on this before in other episodes, you have to work in sync. You have to kind of go side to side and give options to the other players. Like there's moments where Kubo's on the width and nobody to play to. So what does he have to do? He's got to play back. So one's got to either check two, one's got to run behind, but there's got to be a little bit more creativity and a little bit more cohesion with those two moving forward if we're going to see it really gel. Obviously, we still found a way to win. Happy about that, but let's capitalize on some of those chances. Sam, let's hear your trivia question we have for this week for everyone.
Yeah, I got a decent trivia question here. Obviously, we're in the MLS playoffs, so got to keep it playoff, right? So trivia question of the week presented by Goals TV is, which FC Cincinnati player has the most assists in their MLS playoff career, including this match?
So it doesn't have to just be for FC Cincinnati. It's throughout their entire career.
Yes.
I've been thinking about this one a bit. I almost want to say Kai Kamara. I feel like it's Kai Kamara just because he's been around for so long. I know he's got a lot of goals. Like maybe he's got the most assists as well. That's who I'm going to go with.
All right. Well, we'll see what it is on the other side. We're going to take a little bit break. Stay with us, and we'll see what it is on the other side, right? I don't know.
Hey, everyone. Just a quick message from Ryan and Sam here at the Flying Lion Podcast. We wanted to share some exciting news with you. The Flying Lion Podcast has officially partnered with Chatterbox Sports. We are very excited to be a part of the Chatterbox community, as they have proven to give you the very best coverage of Cincinnati sports thus far.
For those who are new to the Flying Line Podcast, we cover FC Cincinnati news, game recaps, analysis, and unique segments such as our trivia question of the week, jersey swap of the week, card of the week. Give us a listen on our post-match shows on every away game on Chatterbox YouTube and our weekly episodes wherever you get your podcast. Thank you again for your support.
Thanks again for joining us tonight. Hopefully you guys are watching live. If not, come check us out every Monday or Tuesday. Now we're going to be doing these live shows. But Sam, it's a winning week. We're going to do our jersey swaps this week. Would love to see in the comments who everyone thought was their best player, in this match. But Sam, who'd you have?
Yeah, jersey swap of the week for me in this one is going to be Alvas Powell. His substitution played a key tactical role in unlocking the Crew's defense. We saw him carry the ball into the final third multiple times, even had 2 or 3 beautiful balls into the box that also could have ended up as assists, just weren't having finishes on the other end. But the goal was developed after he was brought into the match. And he just really seemed to put everything together. His playoff experience definitely showed up in a big way.
Yeah, no, great shout. He was playing for more than himself in this one. I think you see afterwards, obviously he's wearing Pray for Jamaica. And like I touched on in the first part of the episode, with everything going on, I'm sure that was weighing on him, but all he can do is control the moment and go out and do his thing. And he certainly did, man. He made a difference, and shout out to him. He's got great playoff experience, Alvas does, obviously leading the team in appearances in that moment. So to have him come in and do what he did, like Sam mentioned, he almost had another assist as well. Awesome to see in a limited amount of time for him.
It's classic Alvas too, of like just shrugging off defenders like you're a football player, right? Like him being able to just hold off a defender and just like, get off of me. Like, what are we doing right now? And then just being able to sprint past another one, right?
Yeah.
Alvas doesn't get enough credit. But Ryan, who was your jersey swap of the week?
Yeah, so before I say mine, I want to shout out Daniel in the chat here. He's saying Ender Echenike was his. I was real close to saying Ender. The dude laid his body on the line last night. I mean, literally had to be carried off the field because he had cramps at the end of the match. But yeah, Ender had the pass before the assist. and just did a phenomenal job. I felt like negating, like Max Arfton and him went at it the whole night. So that was really cool to see. So shout out to Daniel for that comment. I like that. I see another one here by Michael saying Roman had a great match as well. Saved us several times, and kept us in it. So I like that. His distribution still was a little bit questionable, but he did what he needed to do as the keeper, Sam. So that's important. Sam, mine was Miles Robinson. For me, like, he's become now the leader of this back line. Obviously Roman is there and he's been there for a while, but Miles commands the back line now. And with Miazga out, for us to, get a clean sheet in the playoffs against a rival, we had a moment where we see Miles down the line slip, play a ball like terribly, still outruns Rossi to the ball and wins it back. Like, Miles just did it all. He's proving why he's a dog. I don't, again, know if he's quite that DP level. Like, that's arguable there based on the roster and everything. But, man, we needed him in this match. He was that anchor.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, one of the biggest things is his pace, right? That he's able to track back and, like you said, just win those balls back, off of the guys that, maybe 5-10 yards ahead of him. So yeah, not a bad shout there. I know even Hadebe had a great game. I believe he had 15 defensive actions or something like that. So
yeah,
pretty good from him too. So
8.
Everybody in the back line, right, did really well for the most part. Obviously, I think Hadebe had one clearance that was kind of suspect, but other than that, but yeah, Miles Robinson, you definitely saw why he's favored to start for the U.S. men's national team there.
The only thing I feel like, so obviously in your center of 3 backs that we play, you're not going to see as much distribution by him in that point, but when he's on the right side, he plays some testing balls that really lead to opportunities. I would like to see some of our center backs be a little bit more aggressive, when it comes to that. They feel like they were playing it pretty safe last night, which I understand. It's a big moment. You don't want to make a mistake, but look at all the space that was behind. I feel like Brenner made some really good runs. I feel like down the width, like they could play balls over the top or even switch the play. Look in the next game for some of the center backs to play those balls. I feel like you'll see a little bit more of that. But Sam, on the flip side, what'd you have for your card of the week?
Yeah, my card of the week is going to be Kévin Denkey. He got robbed of goal of the year. This was just terrible. I understand the fans vote for save and goal of the year, which means not a lot of fans know ball, unfortunately, because if you put Son's goal next to Denkey's, it's not even close. I'll take a bicycle kick any day of the week. Son's free kick, it's funny, Evander has actually scored 3 free kick goals, and it looked exactly like that. So Evander also could have had goal of the year. So Ryan, we missed out on an opportunity. MLS, took it away from us. Could have made history with another goal and save of the year.
Yeah, we were close, man. I feel like Denkey, I mean, the level of difficulty to do what he did off the cross, straight out of the air and just a rocket into the back of the net. Like, what are we missing? What was so special about this Son goal that made it the goal of the year? Like, it's clearly the name. Like, let's be honest. It's just because of who it is. I'm surprised, honestly, it wasn't Messi.
Yeah, it wasn't
really
Messi.
Surprised that it wasn't Messi. But if it's not going to be him, it's going to be Son, because he's taken over the league otherwise in just the popularity and everything like that. But if we look at what the goal of the year is, like what it actually means to have goal of the year, you're right. Evander's had 3 of them this season, so I don't know what you're talking about with that. Yeah, for the person that's like looking in Europe at like, oh, the goal of the year in the MLS, let's see what it is, and it's a normal free kick goal. Like, everyone's probably like, what is this?
Yeah, pretty sad. But Ryan, what was your card of the week?
I'm going to throw some shade on the Columbus Crew, Sam. So the MLS players here, Derek Jones and Yaya Boa, both former Crew players last year, are on administrative leave pending an investigation, which one can only suspect is gambling, Sam. It's going on throughout a lot of the different sports in the U.S. here. See a couple of NBA guys that have recently got hit with this, a couple NCAA basketball players as well. But I think these guys were part of something bigger going on. It just shows me and proves to everyone that those dirty people up the highway there are doing some shady stuff. But yeah, I had to throw some shade on them, especially with what's going on in Hell is Real right now.
Yeah, that's I mean, like you said, they're getting everybody now. And it's hard to escape, honestly. I mean, as a player, it's everywhere, right? You see like teams being sponsored, right, by betting companies, and betting even being in the stadium, right? For the Reds, they got BetMGM in there. So I get it, but you got to be stronger than that. Like, come on, like it's not.
And does it make you wonder a little bit about a very bizarre exit from round 1 of the MLS playoffs last year at the hands of the New York Red Bulls? Did Derek Jones and Yayaboa
throw the game
for it for the Crew? I don't know.
Yeah, anything could be a little suspect. But that's actually fun. Did Derek Jones at one point play, or no? He didn't play for us, right?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Etienne.
Yeah. Derek Etienne. Yeah. But yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I had to throw some shade on them for this week. But as we're talking, about goal of the year, Sam, on the flip side, we got our MLS save of the year, Roman Celentano. What a triple save by him against Nashville in March of this year. Just number one, unbelievable save off of the header. Then the follow-up to, I think he was on the ground. He gets a paw on it.
Yeah.
Then another shot while he's on the ground again. Unbelievable, underrated moment in this. If you go back and look at it, Flores decks the guy after Roman makes the save. And I have no idea how it wasn't called a foul or a yellow. So go back and check that out. I think it was pretty hilarious. And he yells over top of the guy. But on that night, he had 7 shot saves, tied for most in his career. He was going off, and we're like, all right, Roman's on another level, this season. But now Sam won 2 out of 3 years for save of the year. His last one, 2023, against the Crew. Hell is real. If you guys watched our intro, we have the audio of that save. But yeah, what a save by him. It saved the match in that one. And obviously, against Nashville, I think we only had a 2-1 victory, so probably save that one too.
Yeah, I mean, once again, absolutely deserves it. Glad we got one of 2 when it comes to the save or the goal of the year. And Ryan, like you have here, we've had goal of the year or save of the year for 3 straight seasons. I mean, if that doesn't say that we're making an impact on the league and that we're, we've got arguably the best players, best quality, I don't know what does. So shout out to Roman for getting this. But Ryan, he's also the 4th goalkeeper in MLS history to earn the honor multiple times.
Oh, wow.
Stephen Frey, Casey Keller, and Nick Raimondo. Nick Raimondo won it 3 times. So very cool, just company that he's kind of around, right? Like, these are guys that are extremely decorated as far as MLS Cups, Open Cups, U.S. men's national team, right? So hopefully, he's able to continue to put his name in those certain conversations.
No, great shout. I think that's a cool side note or sidebar, in all of this, if you look at it. I think at the beginning of the season, we were predicting awards, and I think I had like Denkey, like Golden Boot. I think I had like Evander, obviously like MVP or something, but I'm pretty sure we had done a prediction of like goal of the season. And I'm pretty sure both me and you were saying like, oh, it'd be Luca Orishano again, would repeat. I don't think we had predicted Roman to get save of the year, but man, if you were a betting person again, like 2 out of 3 seasons, he's done it. He's going to probably do it again. So that was cool to see. And I like the side note on that and all the other players that have had it now multiple times, which is pretty cool. Sam, Evander and Nick Hagelin are award finalists as well. It seems like at least for one of these, it's probably case closed. Evander is a finalist for MVP, his 2nd year in a row. Unbelievable season by him. I think we've hammered home on that plenty of times. But Nick Hagelin, a finalist for Comeback Player of the Year. Nick deserves it, man, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's actually got a shot at it, obviously. You mentioned with the MVP conversation, Messi's kind of got that locked up. But yeah, Hagelin, him being a finalist for this, him pushing through what happened last season, coming back, obviously this is kind of an award that we may have wanted for Miazga. I think we were talking about, actually, I think another prediction of ours was Miazga Comeback Player of the Year.
Oh, yeah.
So Hagelin being a finalist for it, we were just, the other center back, right? We should have just said FC Cincinnati center back. But yeah, obviously if Hagelin is able to win this, this is, something that he will probably hold in high regard, because, a lot of people over the past couple of seasons have kind of looked at Nick and been like, he's washed, or he's not in his prime anymore. But he's had a phenomenal season. Yeah.
Every season in the off season, we go, well, I don't know how much we're going to get out of Nick. And then game one of the first round of the playoffs, he's starting against the Crew. Every season. Like, we should just stop betting against Nick until like his legs fall off or something. I don't know. But yeah, that'd be pretty cool to see the hometown kid get an MLS honor. That'd be pretty awesome. Sam, let's talk about some kicks. The unheard of brand FC Cincinnati edition, celebrating the 10th year anniversary for the club. We had a special collab, with Unheard of and Adidas. Pretty cool to see these limited edition sneakers come out. The all for Cincy around, part of it. There's a orange shoe and a blue shoe. I think Noonan was rocking a special edition as well, on the field. He's always got, the newest stuff there. But walk me through some design elements that we saw in this.
Yeah, so just a couple design elements. I mean, you talked about the main orange one is the one that's kind of the main look, and it was kind of inspired by FC Cincinnati winning the Supporters Shield with that orange kit. And then the metallic silver 3 stripes on the side also represent the Shield trophy that we won in 2023 as well. And then, like you said, it's got the All for Cincy motto in like a reflective silver as well. So very cool. The founder of Unheard of kind of shared that he once got cut from his 6th grade soccer team, and so now he gets to design, a shoe for his city, which is awesome. It's pretty cool. So he's kind of like, hey, eat it, But
this made some like worldwide, sneaker sites like all across the internet.
Big time.
You don't see a lot of collabs like this with specific clubs, and I think it's pretty awesome. Like, tell me this: would you prefer to have the kicks that we did, or would you prefer to have a third kit like we've been talking about all season?
Third kit. That's not even.
You go for third kit over the kicks?
Yes, that's not even a question.
But you can wear the kicks to like with any outfit though.
Have you seen the videos where people wear football kits to everything, right? Sure. They're like, hey, this is my date night football kit. This is my football kit that I sleep in, right? Like it's all possible, right?
Yeah, I love the timing of it. Like, everyone was rocking it around the stadium. You could see the kicks everywhere. I think Jeff Birding was even rocking one. I think we saw him on the concourse as well. So yeah, I thought it was a really cool collab. A lot of the players wearing, these walking into the match as well. So hopefully, we got rid of the DeAndre Yedlin clothing line, so we moved on to the sneakers. But yeah, I think it was pretty cool. A lot of people standing out in line waiting on these too. Special edition, sold out. Yeah. So go and try to find them if you can, but they're pretty small supply right now. But Sam, let's talk on a global picture of the MLS playoffs for those, again, kind of wondering where everybody else sits. So far, every home team has won right now. If I look over and see the 92nd minute for Charlotte and NYCFC, NYC is winning on the road against Charlotte. So that would be the first one. And then LAFC plays Austin, I believe, tomorrow. So we had 2 games that went to PKs, Philly and Chicago. Philly ended up winning that one. I was really pulling for Chicago to get the victory in that one. And then Seattle, Minnesota was kind of a snooze fest, but Minnesota ends up pulling it out. So that one I think is going to go 3 for sure. Oh, yeah. But any of the results surprising to you, Sam, or especially in the Eastern Conference? What do you think?
I mean, I'm not too surprised with the results, right? Considering the higher seed won, right? So they should win. But I am happy to see the likes of a Chicago, right? The likes of a Seattle, going up against these higher seeds, and arguably in some cases people have Seattle higher than Minnesota. So I don't know, maybe Chicago makes it interesting. They get one at their place, but having PKs save 2 higher seeds there, it's getting unnervy, Ryan. It's the playoffs, so anything can happen here.
Don't sleep on NYCFC, Sam. I think they're on a little bit of a heater the last part of this season. I think they're going to end up advancing. I really think they go back home and play on a baseball field. They're going to beat Charlotte. So that matchup, moving forward will be interesting to see, because I think they would line up with Philly or Chicago, right? If it came to that. So that would be huge, especially if, they end up winning. We become the home seed then for the rest if we keep winning and advancing. So again, this is best of 3. Next match is going to be Sunday, and then the following weekend after that. So all the way till Sunday, November 9th would be the last set of matches for the whole MLS. Again, to kind of refresh you guys on rules, in the first round, no extra time. It's going to go straight to PKs as we move forward. Then we're going to have extra time and then PKs. So hopefully in the second match, as we kind of move into this here, I'm really pulling to just get the victory so we don't have to go to extra time in PKs, or I guess not extra time, just 2 PKs. But let's kind of roll into our preview here for this one, Sam. Away at the Crew has been interesting over the years.
Yes. Yeah. So the record all time at Columbus for FC Cincinnati is not looking too good. Out of 9 games played all time, so this is including even the U.S. Open Cup back in the day, we are 1 win, 2 draws, 6 losses. And we have 7 goals for, 18 against. So you got a minus 11 goal differential at the Crew. And our lone win, Ryan, was last May. So it's been a while. I know, this season we got the draw.
Caveat, I was going to say, we got the draw.
We got the draw at their place this season. So it's been a while since we got that win. But let's go
back to that match real quick, if we do.
Yeah.
This was early on in the season. We got the early goal. Denkey had a nice goal. It was kind of like I think it wasn't like a bicycle to like another bicycle.
Yeah.
And then it was a fluke PK. Like, honestly, we kind of bunkered in at the end. We were lucky, to tie, honestly. But I feel like the guys are going to come in a little bit different, and saying, especially how this match, ends up and we're up 1-0 in the series. I really feel like they come in with a little bit of energy, honestly. Honestly, if we look at it, Sunday being the match now and not a Monday, Sam, what do you think about the traveling Bailey? It's going to be huge in Columbus. Shout out to those who are going to go up there and support the guys live. Like, I think that could be an underplayed moment. I think they really feed off of the energy. You saw Vander talk about it after the match. Powell said he had chills based on the atmosphere, at TQL. So having our fans there will be massive for us.
Yeah, so I think, I've already seen things where they're looking to take over at least 4 or 5 sections, right? So being able to see that orange and blue, over in the corner is going to be crucial, right? We're going to need to hear you loud and proud. But Ryan, going into this game, as far as on the pitch, keys to winning and playing at lower.com field, what are we looking at?
Yeah, good communication. Again, this past match, like, the defense held in well. They had maybe a few breaks, but it wasn't like, completely where every single time they had the ball, we felt like super worried about that. I felt like it was more under control. So really good communication. Look for that, Miles and commanding the back line again. We'll probably go with a very similar back line. And then the second thing for me is playing together and finishing chances, especially on the road. You go up early, it changes the way that the Crew have to play. Obviously, they're very dependent on possession, but right now, Sam, if we look at the way that they started, they didn't really have a target striker. They used Diego Rossi as that point person. So if they have to play a little bit more direct, I don't know if they can kind of play in that fashion. I know they like to work the ball around quick, but if they really have to boot the ball over the top, maybe that's better suited for us to just clear the ball.
No, yeah, I completely agree. The communication up top obviously is going to be key with the 3-headed monster there. And it'll be interesting to see, if we want to, move into lineup wise too, with Engel and Luka, how healthy are they going to be? Is Luka going to be good to go? Right. Considering he was, if we were going to go to PKs, I believe Pat said that he was going to be available for PKs potentially, but ended up, not going. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he gets a start. Maybe we roll out the same. Honestly, I could see us rolling out the same starting 11 because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I could see, hopefully, we didn't really see. Pat doesn't want to make the first move, right? So hopefully we see some subbing a little bit earlier, especially if we're up to try and put the game away.
No, it's a good shout. I feel like this match, it was a little bit later and made me nervous. I feel like we could have used some fresh legs. So especially playing on the road now, a Monday to Sunday, you have almost your typical break, or actually it's very similar to what you're used to during the season. But getting Luka back, like he didn't get tested in this one. So hopefully he's healthy moving forward. He can survive the week and not have a setback. But to get minutes at the end for him and for this team would be huge, especially if Kubo has to go again and start on that left side. Who's going to come in and support him? Last game we saw Powell do that. Wouldn't mind him there, but I think Luka and what he can bring is just there's no one really like that, on our team besides Evander that can really create in the way that he can. Maybe Ender, if you want to say that on the right side, he can go at guys. But past that, Sam, like you mentioned with Lucas Engel, is he going to be a sub? I think, to not even have him in the 18 is a little bit worrying, for me. So if he's a sub, does he even get minutes at the end? Like, is it a situation where, instead of, Nick coming out and it was Flores, does it now become Engel in that situation? The lineup is fascinating. Like, it's definitely not what we would ideally want, but I think I told you this walking into the stadium last night. This is the most depth we've ever had for a playoff match. If we look over the past few seasons, like quality guys off the bench that theoretically can do something. Obviously having Obi there, huge experience. Anunga, good experience there. Kai Kamara being in the league for so long as well. I mean, that's great to have those guys that can come in and see out games or hopefully find, that goal. That's the key in the playoffs. We really have to rely upon subs.
Well, what's nice now is having guys who, have been with us for 2 or 3 years and have been in the MLS playoffs every single year, right? True. And now they're able to, they were originally those guys that, hey, this is my first MLS playoff appearance. And like, I believe, with Denkey, he was like, man, I'm just happy to get the 3 points. And it's like, well, not really how that works, but hey, I appreciate the energy. But guys, that have experience, your Kubos, your Obis, right? Like even Celentano at this point, Miles Robinson are able to help the younger guys and Flores and Ender and Giddy and be able to show them like, hey, like this is going to be a battle, especially in this first round being a best of 3.
Yeah. Do you think, let's think about that. That's a good point. Do you think we throw more at game 2 to go all at it then and say like, hey, let's just finish it and really stretch it? Or do you not really take as much of that risk and say, hey, we actually do still have a home match if we need it?
I mean,
it's tough. I think it's dependent on the situation.
Yeah, ideally, I think you'd want to go for it and just win outright.
For sure.
Especially in the first 45, right? You can afford to do that in the first 45.
Yeah.
But Ryan, in this one, my predictions, if we're going to get into it, I've got 1-1, and we're going to PKs. My heart, I don't know if it can handle PKs, but that's why I think it's just a toss up. Honestly, when it gets to PKs, I'm hoping obviously FC Cincinnati wins outright. But once again, if I'm going to try and stick, by my predictions, I had the Crew winning this in the preview. But what are your predictions on this one?
Don't like it, Sam. I don't like it. I don't like the energy. Not feeling that. 2-1 victory for FC Cincinnati. We'll probably let in a goal, but I think I think Brenner puts one away there. And then how sick would it be for Kai Kamara to score?
I know somebody was saying that in the chat.
Yeah, man, that'd be unreal. But yeah, I feel like all these games are going to be so close. It's a rivalry game in the playoffs. It doesn't matter seeding. Like, it's a clean slate. Like, both teams are going to go at it real hard, and the Crew are going to throw everything they have at it because this might be it for them. They might be losing their coach, Sam.
I saw that Celtic.
There's rumors right now that Nancy might be going abroad. So does that weigh on what's going on over there as well? Let's just go take care of business, man. And honestly, if you do that, you get a week off between.
Yeah.
I mean, because then you don't have to play that third match.
Mm-hmm.
You have some time to kind of regroup and get things back together. But let's not look too far ahead, if we're the players. We won game 1. Don't let 2 slip through your hands. Go and take care of business. I don't care what the record says on paper, but just go out and play the way we did this last match. Like, I feel like we had a
there's
really
reason for
nice
the higher seed, right?
Yeah. I mean, like, it didn't feel like a little bit better in terms of the way, that we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I really like that. We didn't touch on this in terms of lineup wise. Do you think Obi starts in this one at least 45 minutes?
I don't know. I think you may like roll it out the same. I know he came in what we said 80th minute around there. I think I talked to you. I think we said 45, right? Giddy would play first 45, but we would play second. And the goal would be, hey, let's get a 1-2 goal lead, and then you throw Obi, and then he's the anchor, right? So that would be ideal.
Yeah, he looked pretty good, I would say. If we had, he was making some good tackles even there at the very closing moments of the match. But yeah, I think that Giddy is so athletic. I know me and you had talked about this. He lines up well with a lot of the other players on the crew. Like, I really felt like the Nagme versus Giddy matchup was going to be the key. It actually ended up being Ender against Arston, like we talked about earlier. So game 2, really look for those same matchups again, and then do the crew play a little bit different? Do they put in a true striker up top instead of Rossi there? And that might affect, how we play too. But hopefully, I like this comment that I was seeing here in the chat about initial pressure, go for the kill. Like, just throw it at him, man. I love it. I like that. I like the high energy. I feel like you'll see a good press, but just don't get exposed. Don't go super high up. And then there was moments, Sam, where Buka and Giddy were too high up, and Rossi was floating, right in front of the center backs and had a ton of space. So it was good communication by them, last night. Let's see if we can do it in game 2. But give us our trivia answer here before we go.
Yeah, so just to remind you guys, trivia question of the week presented by Goals TV was, which FC Cincinnati player has the most assists in their MLS playoff career, including this past match? Ryan, I believe you said Kai Kamara. Do you want to throw out a number, or?
I feel like he's got 15, maybe.
15 assists?
Well, no, that's I feel like that's a lot. Let's go 10. Let's go 10 assists.
10 assists? Okay. Yeah. All right. So the answer for this one is actually Nick Haglin.
Whoa.
Yeah. I know. Surprise. So Nick Haglin has 2 assists. Kai Kamara has 1. So here's the drop down. It's pretty crazy. So Nick Haglin has 2 assists. He had 1 goal and 2 assists in 6 matches in the 2016 MLS playoffs with Toronto. And then all tied for second there's a 4-way tie for second: Kamara, Obi, Brad Smith, and Alvas Powell.
Oh, wow. Huh. That's cool.
Yeah.
Only 2 though assists, says
he's a goal scorer. He's a goal scorer up top.
Yeah. Well, even in all the moments, over the past couple seasons, it's not Lucho, it's not Barrial. Yeah. That's kind of surprising. I wanted to bring up, everyone's talking about, Nagbe. This might be it for Nagbe. This might be it for Kai Kamara, Sam. I think if the boys in the locker room are saying, play for Kai, let's go get a championship one last time. He's won it once with Sporting KC, 2012, 2013. So is there a little bit more added meeting in the locker room, for them to go get the championship for him too? I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I obviously winning anything right with him on your team is going to be good. Just good vibes and just the pedigree to add to it, right? Yeah, that would just be amazing. But Ryan, game two, we're looking forward to it.
Sunday, 6:45 kickoff.
I mean, we're going live for this one, right?
We're going live. Yep, we'll be doing a live
it with
show.
us. Watch it with us. If you're not there, watch it with us. We will be watching the game with you. We'll live react to everything. Hopefully sitting there with some popcorn after, maybe a 4-goal lead, right? Who knows?
Yeah, go check it out on Sunday again, 6:45 or probably 55 by the time it starts. But yeah, we'll be there covering it all. Thanks again for joining us tonight, and go check us out again wherever you get your podcast. We'll see you next time.